The second Felicia hit send, her world flipped upside down. She stared at her screen, paralyzed with dread. That message, "Babe, I need you now. I'm ovulating. Please come over," was meant for her boyfriend Dante. The same Dante who'd been ducking her calls for 3 straight days. But instead, it landed on a contact she'd labeled "Do Not Contact." MIN immediately, 3 dots popped up. Then came a reply that made her stomach drop. "I don't know who this is, but you've just made a fascinating error. Stay where you are. I'm locating you now." What Felicia didn't realize was that she'd just messaged Min Jae-sung, Seoul's most feared underground kingpin. A man who hadn't cracked a smile in half a decade. Until this moment. And he was already heading her way. Before we jump in, if you're here for the intensity, the forbidden romance, and stories that'll have you yelling at your device, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell so you catch every upload. Believe me, you won't want to miss how this plays out. Let's dive in. Felicia Okonkwo was drowning in the worst stretch of her life. 27 years old, she'd built a thriving luxury event business after relocating from Lagos to Seoul 4 years back. She was fluent in Korean, self-made, and respected throughout the industry for her brilliance and her boldness. But right now, she was unraveling. Her boyfriend of nearly 2 years, Dante, had been acting off lately, withdrawn, evasive, and for 3 solid days, he'd vanished completely. Meanwhile, her fertility app kept pinging her with relentless alerts. Her biological clock wasn't just ticking anymore, it was screaming bloody murder. "This man better pick up," Felicia muttered, pacing her sleek Gangnam apartment. She'd already dialed Dante 14 times. Radio silence. Out of sheer frustration and maybe a lapse in judgment, she decided on a text bold enough to grab his attention. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. "Babe, I need you now. I'm ovulating. Please come over." She tapped send, then glanced at the screen, and her entire body went cold. The text hadn't gone to Dante with the little heart emoji. It had gone to a number stored under Do Not Contact. MIN no. No, no, no. Felicia gripped her phone like she could physically yank the message back through the glass. Too late. It showed delivered. Then read. Her mind spiraled. Who was Min? Why did she even have that number? Why the warning label? Then it clicked. For months ago, at an exclusive gala she'd orchestrated for Seoul's elite power players, a server had accidentally drenched one of the guests in champagne. The man had been absolutely terrifying, tall, impossibly handsome, with eyes so cold they looked like they'd witnessed death and delivered it personally. Security had hauled the server away, and Felicia, never one to bite her tongue, had stormed up to the man and demanded he show some humanity. The entire ballroom had gone silent. People stared at her like she'd just signed her own death warrant. But the man had simply gazed at her, something unreadable flickering behind those dark eyes. Then he'd slipped her a card with his number written in sharp ink. "You've got fire in you," he'd said, his voice low and bone-chilling. "If you ever need help or a favor, use this." She'd saved it under Do Not Contact, MIN as a personal reminder to never, ever reach out. And now she'd just told Seoul's most dangerous crime lord that she was ovulating and wanted him to come over. Her phone buzzed. "MIN, I don't know who you are, but you just made a very intriguing mistake. Don't move. I'm tracking this number." Felicia's thumbs went into overdrive. "Felicia, wrong number. I'm so sorry. That wasn't for you. Please ignore it. Don't track anything. I'm nobody. Forget this ever happened. 3 dots. MIN, nobody accidentally texts a contact labeled Do Not Contact. You wanted my attention. Now you have all of it. Felicia, I literally saved you as Do Not Contact. Does that sound like someone trying to get your attention?" A pause. "MIN, you remember me." "Felicia, kind of impossible to forget the scariest person I've ever encountered." MIN scary. Interesting word choice. Most people say deadly. "Felicia, deadly men don't rattle me. Scary ones do. There's a distinction." Another pause, longer this time. "MIN, I traced you." Felicia Okonkwo. The event planner with the sharp mouth. I remember you as well. Felicia's blood froze. And then, you stood in front of me and demanded mercy for some clumsy server. Do you know how many people have demanded anything from me and survived? Felicia. Not many, I'm guessing. Am I a none? You were the first. Felicia. And yet here I am, still breathing. Am I in for now? Felicia couldn't tell if that was a threat or dark humor. With men like him, it was probably both. Am I in? So tell me, Felicia Okonkwo, who's the fortunate man who is supposed to receive your fertility bulletin? Felicia groaned and covered her face. Felicia, my boyfriend. Not that it concerns you. Am I in? Boyfriend. Yet you said, come over, implying he should already be there. But he's not, is he? Felicia, he's occupied. Am I in? For 3 days straight. Felicia froze solid. How could he possibly know it had been 3 days? Felicia, how do you know that? Am I in? I know everything about everyone who interests me. And you, Felicia, have interested me for 4 months now. Before she could type back, her doorbell chimed. She went rigid. It was nearly midnight. She wasn't expecting a soul. Her phone lit up. Going to answer your door? Felicia's pulse hammered against her ribs. She crept toward the entrance, her bare feet soundless on the polished floors. She peered through the peephole, and there he stood, Min Jae-sung. 6'3" of perfectly tailored midnight suit, razor-sharp features, and eyes so black they seemed to swallow light. His dark hair swept back from his face, hands casually pocketed like showing up uninvited at midnight was perfectly ordinary. 2 hulking bodyguards flanked him. Her phone buzzed. Am I in? I told you I was coming to find you. I wasn't joking. Felicia drew a long breath. Fear crawled up her spine, but she refused to show it. She was Felicia Okonkwo. She'd survived Lagos streets. She'd built an empire in a foreign land from nothing. She didn't cower. She unlocked the door. Min Jae-sung looked at her, truly looked at her, and something shifted in his expression. His cold gaze traveled from her silk headscarf down her oversized sleep shirt to her bare legs. For just a moment, he seemed almost human. You opened the door, he said, his voice deeper than she remembered. You're at my door at midnight. Felicia shot back, crossing her arms. What choice did I have? There's always a choice. He tilted his head, studying her intently. You could have contacted the police. Would that have stopped you? The ghost of a smile touched his lips. No. Then why waste my time? Felicia held his stare unflinchingly. What do you want, Mr. Min? He moved closer, and she caught his scent, expensive cologne, something dark and woody with danger underneath. I want to understand, he said slowly, why a woman with a boyfriend is ovulating alone, and why she looked desperate enough to accidentally text a crime boss. Felicia's jaw tightened. My personal life isn't your business. Everything in Seoul is my business. His eyes bore into hers, especially when it involves a woman I've been observing for 4 months. Felicia's breath caught. Observing me? Why? Min didn't answer right away. He glanced past her into the apartment, then back. Because you're the first person in a decade who looked me in the eyes without flinching. The first person who demanded something from me without trembling. The first person who made me feel. He paused, searching. Intrigued. Intrigued, Felicia repeated flatly. You've been stalking me because you're intrigued. I prefer monitoring. I prefer stalking. That ghost smile returned. You truly aren't afraid of me, are you? I told you. Deadly men don't rattle me. And scary ones do, he remembered. So which am I, Felicia Okonkwo? Deadly or scary? Felicia stared at him, her heart pounding so violently she was certain he could hear it. Right now? You're irritating. Min Jae-sung, the most feared crime lord in Seoul, the man responsible for countless deaths, the man who hadn't smiled in 5 years, threw his head back and laughed. His bodyguards exchanged shocked looks, and Felicia realized she might be in deeper trouble than she'd thought. Min didn't leave. He walked into her space like he belonged there, waving his security away with a casual gesture. Felicia watched him move through her home, touching nothing but absorbing everything. "Beautiful place," he said. "You've built something impressive. I work for it. I'm aware."
Okonkwo Events.
Top-rated event planning firm in Gangnam. For years ago, you arrived with barely anything. Now you're worth 3 billion won. He turned to face her. "Remarkable. You really have been stalking me. I told you. You fascinated me." He settled onto her sofa, utterly relaxed. "Now explain this boyfriend who ignores you during your fertile window. Why do you care?" "Consider it professional curiosity." Felicia didn't understand why she opened up. Maybe exhaustion. Maybe 3 days of being dismissed. Maybe because this terrifying crime boss was the first person in weeks who'd actually seen her, really seen her. "His name's Dante," she said quietly, sitting across from him. "We've been together almost 2 years. I thought we were heading somewhere real. Marriage, family. But lately," she trailed off. "Lately he's distant," Min finished. "Secretive. Coming home late. Avoiding her calls." Her eyes snapped to his. "How do you?" Min pulled out his phone, tapped it, and handed it over. On the screen was a photograph.
Dante.
Her Dante. In an upscale restaurant, fingers intertwined with a Korean woman. Laughing. Intimate. The timestamp read yesterday. Felicia felt like she'd been gut-punched. "Her name is Kim Soo-jin," Min said, his tone clinical. "Daughter of a minor government official. They've been involved for 7 months. He's planning to propose within the week." Felicia couldn't breathe. 7 months. More than a third of their relationship. Everything had been a lie. "I apologize," Min said, and he almost sounded sincere. "Why are you showing me this?" Felicia's voice barely worked. "Because you deserve truth." He leaned forward, forearms on his knees. "And because a woman like you shouldn't waste tears or eggs on a man like him." Felicia laughed, but it came out shattered. "A woman like me. Strong. Brilliant. Beautiful." His dark eyes held hers. "Fire. You don't know me. I know enough." He stood, straightening his jacket. "I also know that if you wish, this problem can vanish." Felicia's head jerked up. "What do you mean, vanish?" "I mean Dante Williams will never hurt you, or any woman again." The implication hung heavy in the air. "No," Felicia said firmly. "Absolutely not. He's a cheating. He's garbage, but he doesn't deserve to die." She stood, meeting his gaze head-on. "I'm not like you. I don't solve problems with violence." "Then how do you solve them?" "I survive. I move forward. I win." That strange expression crossed his face again, almost like respect. "Fire," he murmured. "So much fire." He moved toward the exit, then paused. "I'll have my people remove your boyfriend's belongings by morning. You won't have to see him again." "I didn't ask for that."
"No.
"But I'm doing it regardless." He glanced back. "Consider it a favor. From someone who understands betrayal." Then he was gone. Felicia stood in her empty apartment, that photo of Dante seared into her mind. She should be devastated.
Crying.
Instead, she felt strangely liberated. And she couldn't stop replaying the way Min Jae-sung had looked at her when he called her fire. True to his word, Dante's belongings vanished by morning. Felicia woke to find every trace of him erased, his clothes, his grooming products, even their framed photo that had sat on her nightstand for years. A note in elegant handwriting sat on her kitchen counter. "The garbage has been removed.
Jay."
Despite everything, Felicia laughed. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unfamiliar number. Not unfamiliar.
Min.
"Man, did you rest?" "Felicia, are you seriously checking on me?" "Man, answer the question." "Felicia, a little."
"You?"
"Man, I rarely sleep." "Felicia, that's unhealthy." "Man, so is texting crime bosses at midnight." Yet here we are. Felicia bit back a smile. "Felicia, fair point. Thanks for the trash removal." "Man, you're welcome. Have dinner with me tonight." Felicia stared at the screen. Was Seoul's most dangerous man asking her on a date? "Felicia, That sounds like an order, not an invitation. Min, I'm not accustomed to invitations. Only orders. Felicia, then learn. Ask me properly. A long pause. Min, Felicia Okonkwo. Would you grant me the honor of dining with me tonight? Please? Felicia laughed aloud. Felicia, see? Not so difficult.
Fine.
But I choose the location. Min, agreed. I'll send a car at 7. So our girl Felicia is about to have dinner with Seoul's most dangerous man, and something tells me this won't be your typical date. If you're loving this, drop a comment below and let me know. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. We're just getting to the intense part, and trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. Felicia selected a modest West African restaurant in Itaewon, one of the only places in Seoul that reminded her of home. Nothing fancy or expensive, definitely not where crime lords typically dined. But when Min Jae-sung walked through the entrance in an impeccably tailored charcoal suit, he didn't flinch at the casual setting. He simply scanned the room until he found her, then walked over like she was the only person in existence. You look stunning, he said, sliding into the booth across from her. Felicia had chosen a fitted burgundy dress that accentuated her curves, her natural hair styled in defined curls framing her face. She debated for an hour before reminding herself this wasn't a real date. She didn't know what this was. You clean up well yourself, she said dryly. For a criminal. Businessman. Same thing. That almost smile again. You really don't filter yourself, do you? Life's too short. She handed him a menu. Hope you're ready for jollof rice and plantains because that's what we're having. Min studied the menu like it was written in code. I've never tried any of this. Then prepare to have your world rocked. When the food arrived, Felicia watched Min take his first bite of suya. His eyes widened slightly, the most emotion she'd seen from him. This is incredible. Revolutionary, right? Better than whatever expensive stuff you usually eat. Significantly. Over dinner, something unexpected happened. The walls crumbled on both sides. Min told her about growing up in Busan. His father had been a dock worker, his mother a seamstress. Poor but content. Then at 16, his father was murdered by a local gang for refusing extortion payments. His mother died from heartbreak 6 months later. I infiltrated the gang that killed my father, Min said quietly, not meeting her eyes. Rose through their ranks. Then I destroyed them from within. Took everything. Built my empire from their ruins. So revenge, Felicia said softly. That's how you became this. Yes. He finally looked at her. Does that frighten you?
No.
Felicia stirred her drink. It makes me sad. Sad. You were just a kid who lost everything. You did what you thought necessary to survive. That's not frightening. It's heartbreaking. Min stared at her like she'd spoken an alien language. No one has ever called my life heartbreaking. Then no one has truly seen you. The air between them shifted. Electric, dangerous. What about you? Min asked, his voice rougher. What forged you into this? Felicia told him about Lagos, the poverty, the violence, the mother who juggled multiple jobs and still struggled to keep food on the table. She told him about putting herself through university, about the professor who said she'd never succeed, about arriving in Seoul with barely any savings and a dream. I've never shared all that, she admitted. Not even with Dante. Then he never deserved to know. Min reached across the table, his fingers grazing hers. But I do. Felicia withdrew her hand. What is this, Jae-sung? What are we doing? I don't know.
Honest.
I've never done this before. Dinner, real conversation, actually caring what someone thinks. You've never dated? I've had arrangements. Transactions. Mutually beneficial agreements. His jaw tightened. But this is different. Different how? He leaned forward, intensity blazing in his dark eyes. You make me want things I thought I'd killed years ago. You make me want to protect you, not because you need it, but because the thought of anyone harming you makes me want to burn everything down. You make me want to be better. Felicia's heart pounded so violently she could hear it. Jae-sung. Call me Jay, he corrected. Just Jay. Jay. The name felt intimate. This is insane. We barely know each other. I know enough. He echoed her earlier words. I know you're the first person in a decade who's made me feel alive. I know I haven't stopped thinking about you for 4 months. I know when you accidentally texted me, it felt like destiny. Destiny. Felicia repeated skeptically. I accidentally texted you about ovulating. And here we are. She couldn't help it, she laughed. After a moment, he laughed too. You're crazy, she said. Perhaps. He smiled now, truly smiled. But I'm also serious. I want you, Felicia. Whatever you're willing to give. And if I'm not willing to give anything, then I'll wait. His gaze never wavered. However long it takes. Felicia looked at this man, dangerous, terrifying, surprisingly vulnerable, and felt something shift inside her. I'm not easy, she warned. I'm stubborn, independent, and I'll never let you control me. I don't want control. I want partnership. I have a career, a life. I'm not abandoning that for anyone. I would never ask you to. And if you ever hurt me like Dante did, I will destroy you. I don't care how powerful you are. Something like pride flashed in his eyes. I'd expect nothing less. Felicia took a deep breath. Okay, she said finally. One more date. We'll see where it leads. The smile that transformed Min Jae-sung's face was small, but genuine, and it changed everything about him. One more date, he agreed. And then another. And another. Until you can't imagine life without me. Confident. Determined. He stood, offering his hand.
Come.
There's something I want to show you. Felicia should have known the peace couldn't last. Over the next month, she and Jay fell into something terrifyingly real. He texted her every morning. He appeared at her office with lunch. He sat through elaborate events watching her work with unmistakable pride. And at night, they talked about everything and nothing, about abandoned dreams and unspoken fears. Felicia was falling hard. And for the first time, she wasn't afraid. Until she met Min Tae-hyun. It happened at a charity gala. One Felicia's company was coordinating,